And then the officer said another 5 minutes, and you can kiss that citation goodbye.
Oh.
Oh, are we recording?
Oh, we're recording.
Oh, darn.
Dang.
What a situationally comedic event.
I know, yeah. So, but this is Media Crash, episode 19, and today, if you couldn't tell from our the most hilarious joke we've ever told on this podcast, we're going to be talking about sitcoms. My name is Holden, otherwise known as Time to Grind.
My name is Daniel, otherwise known as Not Daniel, so people don't know me on the internet, because you need to be safe on the internet.
Stay safe, yeah.
My name is Matthew, also known as Sutter, and I hate sitcoms. No, I don't hate sitcoms. I love sitcoms.
I hate sitcoms.
Yeah, sitcoms are like, they can definitely be hit or miss because you can have the like really quality ones, like, you know, It's Always Sunny and other ones we'll talk about. But then you can have other ones like, in my opinion, Family Guy, which, I mean, it has its moments, but like,
Is that a situational comedy?
It is.
Yeah.
In a way.
I even looked this up because at first I didn't think that animated sitcoms, like I didn't know if that was technically considered a sitcom. So I, of course, typed in, is Family Guy a sitcom? I found out Family Guy is considered a sitcom.
So would like slice of life anime be considered a sitcom?
Kind
or
of.
like comedy based?
But Japan does the story a lot differently. In a way, probably.
Because what I'm trying to get into this is if A equals B, if slice of life anime can be sitcom, then sitcoms are anime, and if sitcoms are anime, then Family Guy's an anime.
So Family Guy is the best anime
It's the best
of all
slice
time.
of life.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Best slice of life
Family
anime.
Guy is the best slice of life.
If A is B, and B is equal to C, A is equal to C.
Exactly.
You can't argue with my logic.
Kaguya-sama, out of all the anime I'm thinking of, is probably the closest, because that's every episode is its own situation, kind of.
Yeah, so, but I mean, like, pretty much
quality.
Yeah, like all a sitcom really is just like you have a cast of characters, and then every episode the characters getting some other wacky shenanigans or something like that. So is The Office? I get
The Office is like
has
the
a story.
quintessential sitcom.
But it is, I guess.
I mean, I think a sitcom can have a story.
Well, quintessential, in my eyes, is the ones where it's a set and the camera doesn't really move that much.
Okay, yeah, maybe like Seinfeld or something. I guess it's more like a modern day.
Yeah.
Well, no, like Big Bang Theory would probably be the modern day sitcom.
Big Bang Theory Big Bang Theory, it definitely is a sitcom, but it's not a good sitcom. I just want to say, I think the best thing I've ever heard people say is It's Always, because they compare it to It's Always Sunny, because they're like, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is a good show about stupid people, or is a good show about bad people.
No, it's
you're misreading.
A smart show about stupid people.
There you go.
Big Bang Theory is a dumb show about smart people.
Yeah.
That's what
That's the meme.
Like, because my parents are like super into Big Bang Theory, and I remember like when I still lived with them, I'd like walk past the TV, when I went downstairs, and it's just laugh track after laugh track after laugh track, like.
Yeah, it's
laugh track. I think for sure. I mean, because there are some like I can't think of an example, but I'm sure there's a good sitcom with a laugh track. Like I'm sure it doesn't automatically make it a bad sitcom.
Have you established what a sitcom is?
Yeah, it's like the cast of characters, and like every episode, it's like they're in a different.
It's a situational comedy. Each episode is a situation.
Yeah.
Isn't like most comedies though?
Most,
Wouldn't that fall
honestly,
under the
most
purview
shows,
of like a sitcom? Because like situations happen, and then comedies derived from that is like anything with comedy in it.
Most comedic shows are sitcoms for the most part.
Yeah, especially in I guess America, like America TV.
Yeah, American TV. So like Rick and Morty counts as a sitcom in a way. Mm-hmm. I watched a video today as a sort of research, sort of like on how their the secret formula behind sitcoms, and they basically talk about how like usually there's a problem at the beginning. And there's a character quirk that's consistent through the show that causes the character to how it tackles that situation.
Yeah.
With The Office, it's usually some office event that's happening, and Michael tackles it in the most unprofessional way you can.
So do you think Michael's a narcissist or a sociopath? Or
No, I don't think he's any of those things. Because
you don't think he's like at the very least narcissistic?
A little bit, but I don't know if like clinically. He just wants to entertain people. Like it comes from wanting to spread that, and which can come from a selfish want to be loved. But like, yeah, he does eventually genuinely care for people, though. He doesn't.
I mean, he says some. All right, I've been recently watching The Office for the first time in ever, and
so have I.
I'm on like season 4, I think, where, spoiler alert, only not a spoiler if you've seen a single fucking episode of the show, where Jim and Pam finally get together. Felt bad for Karen. Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
because she literally like moved to
yeah, she just got,
Scranton, yeah, and then got
got dumped.
Okay, anyway.
Fucking rip.
What about Michael?
He says some pretty bad things.
Oh yeah, have you seen this? Have you rewatched the Scott's Tots episode yet?
The Scott's Tots episode, no.
Okay, I partly don't. I would be okay spoiling it to the. Wait, did you say you've seen the show before, or?
No, this is my first time.
Okay, I don't think we should spoil. But there's an episode called Scott's Tots, and if any of you guys have seen it, you should. You know what I'm talking about. But I want you to let us know after you've watched that episode because, whew.
So he gets worse.
I don't think Matthew's ever actually seen that episode in its entirety.
I have.
Oh, because you told me you like constantly skipped through it because it was too cringy for
Oh. Yeah, I didn't do that. I did the worst part where he actually has to say that he didn't do it.
Okay, yeah, don't say anything. But yeah, it's...
So now I'm just in suspense.
It's less... It's one of those things where it's like Michael didn't do like...
It was more gross incompetence that led to a really bad thing.
Yeah, to a cringy situation.
In my opinion, the worst thing Michael did, because it was just his own doing, his own selfishness, is there's an episode where he basically does something that the upper executives like get really mad at him for. And he instantly says, like, he's like, Dwight, you gotta take the blame for me. I might get fired, and if you get fired, it's not that big of a deal. He's willing to just let Dwight get fired for this.
Yeah, you don't think he's like in the least bit narcissistic?
Well, this episode really pushes that because, and then eventually the executives come to praise whoever did it, which Dwight took the credit for, and so they all started praising him. And then Michael just throws a fit because it was his idea and he wants the credit for it. It's the most annoying, like...
He's more like a child that never grew up.
Yeah, no, that's the perfect definition of Michael.
What was that?
Childs
what was that called?
are psychopaths.
We watched well, I guess it was just called The Man-Child,
Children.
but there was like a whole
childs.
terminology for it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a philosophical description. It was basically made to be like, youth culture is just people being man babies.
Yeah, and saying like, oh, they don't ever grow up and stuff. And I think that fits Michael pretty well. But I think that's one really cool thing about sitcoms is it's like, if they're a good sitcom, like The Office, you know, you have these characters where they're actual, like, well-rounded characters. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Michael does some really stupid things, but he also does some really good things, and it kind of, like, makes it feel like it's a real person.
Yeah.
Versus, you know, there's this term called, like, Flanderization, which is... like Flander in The Simpsons, I think is what it's like named after, which is like the religious guy, you know, in The Simpsons. Neighbor, yeah, and he used to be a well-rounded character, but the longer and longer and longer the show went on, the character just kind of became, its one personality was, what, the religion? I think it was just
he
like
became
he was religious.
Like basically a caricature of himself.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, Sandy to an extent, I know in SpongeBob people talk about, like, Sandy doing that, except, like, Sandy, it's either, like, she's, like, she used to be like this well-rounded character, but then they kind of just, you know, started shoehorning in maybe a little bit more than just like, because I think you have the Texas and the science.
Karate.
But like, yeah, the longer it went though, they kind of just, you know, it becomes less of a roll-around. And I think that's just part of like sitcoms if they last too long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you don't have like a single writer with one vision. You have a team of writers who are like, okay, we want people to keep watching this, because we want our executives to make money so they can give us some money so we can eat.
Yeah.
So they're not going to, like, you know, think about the depths that they can take Sandy's characters to. They're going to think, how can we keep the status quo going so that even if it does go wrong, we can say, look, you know, it's perfectly normal. This is what we were doing before, and we kept doing it, and it happened not to work out.
Yeah.
I think it's more just, like, people doing it as a job rather than... you know, like
being
passionately.
And that passion, you probably lose it after 15 years. Yeah.
The one that annoys me the most of The Office is probably Jan a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, though, is if you didn't have Jan, so for context, Jan starts off as a kind of love interest for Michael, and then she was the boss of him, and then eventually they kind of start dating, and she gets fired, I think, later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then she kind of just turns into like a manipulative like relationship, which is a cool plot point. and you wouldn't have one of the best episodes, which is the dinner party
party episode, yeah.
Have you gotten to that, Daniel?
I have not.
It's one of the best ones.
Wait,
Snip,
wait,
snap,
dinner
snip,
party.
snap, snip, snap. That's hilarious.
Snake off to get a
Or
vasectomy.
I don't know.
Does she pressure him into getting a
I don't know.
vasectomy?
You just have to watch the episode.
you have to watch the episode.
But yeah, no, go ahead.
What the fuck? Man, I knew she was like kind of, struggling in the empathy department, but I didn't know she was
Oh my god! And then what she does? I'm trying to like say these without spoiling them to Daniel, but like where if the viewer watched it, but how she ended up like doing the one thing that like Michael wanted the whole time, but like not in the. You know what I'm talking about. I don't know if anyone's gonna know, but yeah, no. Jan totally just becomes a.
If you watch the first couple of seasons, she's genuinely interesting. There's in season 2, she's doing like a women's seminar for all the women workers, and one of them's like, I have this dream, it's not that important. I think Pam is like, it's not that big of a deal. And it's like, don't let yourself be like, she gives Pam a
like encouragement and motivation.
A well-rounded
I remember that
speech.
scene, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, for that specific part of her, she's actually pretty cool, but otherwise she's your standard lawful neutral boss character. But like, I thought that was cool.
I mean, and to give The Office credit a little bit more, I will say, I guess it's better, like, the fact that, like, she had a character arc that, like, it ended up kind of being Flanderized a little bit with, just being the but at least it was, like, a development of the character, like, versus, like, how she ended was nowhere near how she started a little bit.
I kind of see what you're saying, because like standard Flanderization, you just have like that character degradation where it's like, you start out with a cool character, they stay where they are, and they become more simple and more simple and more simple. And like, they don't really change at all. It's just the parts that made them up become more and more uninteresting.
Yeah, and one thing I'm interested in seeing is, speaking of sitcoms and how we were talking about Sandy and SpongeBob, apparently they just announced they're doing a spin-off of SpongeBob, and it's starring Patrick. And apparently the creator of SpongeBob said he never wanted a spin-off of SpongeBob, never wanted that, hated that idea, always wanted it to be around SpongeBob. So they waited till he died. Now that he's dead, it's happening. We get a spin-off of Patrick. So I'd be interested to see. How
much do you want to bet that's going to be one of the most reprehensible things that comes out of 2020?
SpongeBob right now is one of the most reprehensible parts of Nickelodeon, and then that's all they play. That's the one thing they know they have.
Is SpongeBob, yeah.
Like, even as a kid, I was like, oh, it's Nickelodeon. It's the SpongeBob channel. That's
like,
all they do.
There's so many good other, like, I don't know, like maybe it was just me and like I watched so many cartoons as a kid, but like freaking like, Avatar.
Oh yeah, wait, Avatar. That was
that's actually
sick.
like one of the few ones that's not a sitcom, that's like an actual show.
A complete fluke for Nickelodeon having it. I could see that airing on like Cartoon Network or something, because they actually take risks.
Wait, so Cartoon Network, wait, I'm confused.
Nickelodeon aired Avatar.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I was about
that
to
really
say,
is a
like,
weird
Fairly Odd Parents, that's
Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon. I like Fairly Odd
Nickelodeon
Parents.
is just like corporate. Well, I mean, it's all corporate, whatever. But Nickelodeon, it's the most obvious that it's corporate, like dried out animation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like Disney probably is technically the most.
Like definitely the most corporate, or like, I don't know, hierarchical.
Mm-hmm.
I'm subscribed to. I'm following Alex Hirsch, who does Gravity Falls. On actually, that's not even a sitcom, but he was tweeting how he wasn't allowed to talk about a gay character or do a gay character on Gravity Falls when he was doing it.
Oh my gosh.
Just
because corporate, you gotta keep everyone happy while it's like whatever.
Shift with the Overton window.
All right.
But so kind of going back to how you were saying, like corporate, that thing. That's how I feel about freaking Family Guy. At least now, like there is no quality. Maybe at one point in time there was quality that went into Family Guy.
There's some humor.
But like sometimes the few couple of times that I have to, like, I want to kill myself and I'm watching Family Guy, and so I'm like, get in the mood to, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you're working up to it.
Family Guy will push me over the edge, but no, like, just if I'm happening to watch a clip or whatever, because God knows there's a billion clips of Family Guy on YouTube.
Family Guy funny moment.
24/7.
700,000.
It's like an anime sometimes in how low quality the animation is. It's literally like, sometimes there'll be like 30 seconds where it's just a picture. It's just a picture, and the only animation you see is like a single hand and someone talking. But other than that, there's no movement in the frame. It's just, you know what I mean? And it's like,
they sometimes make a thing profitable. You don't have to make it sell well. You just have to make it really cheap to make.
That's true. Like, because we're watching Futurama, I'm showing Caitlin Futurama, and that's the complete opposite.
Oh, yeah.
Futurama, that has like one of the highest. Okay, I don't know about that, but I know it has a really high budget. Like, it's an insane. I think like each episode costed like millions of dollars to make, because like you watch it and it looks like it doesn't look the best, but then you look at when it came out, and that show's old as hell. But like,
when did that come out?
I think it was like, I can't remember if it was 1990s or early 2000s.
Oh my God.
But either way, early 2000s, it hurts to say, but that is kind of old, you know what I mean?
It looks better than most shows on today.
Because they put the quality in it, you know what I mean?
Is there any non-cartoon sitcoms we can talk about?
We have, we talked about The Office. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the best show or sitcom on the planet, in my opinion.
I recognize the absolute quality. I love the writing in that show to death. I just get like asshole fatigue when I'm watching that, because I'm like, wow, you are all so god-awful and reprehensible. I don't want to see any of you anymore. I want to just like go back to a time before I was
existed?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the one way I try to look at it, which obviously I'm not saying you guys don't look at it that way, but like, obviously the show is like making fun of those characters.
Like,
you know,
I get that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a show, it's an exaggeration, but I mean, just because it's done on purpose doesn't make it any less like exhausting.
Yeah.
You know what makes that show different than what I hate about Family Guy?
What?
So Family Guy, most sitcom characters, despite they're mostly morally ambiguous. Just they either have qualities that make them assholes, but it's funny. But a lot of them are still likable, or like somewhat morally okay. Yeah. So Family Guy, they're all terrible. They're sociopaths, and they're like Brian. But I guess what I'm trying to get to is they all think that the show tries to make you think that they're
good.
Like just rational people. But like they're trying to make Brian the rational part of the group, but he's just this prick. He's just like going after women, and he thinks he's more right than anyone. And they kind of call him out with another character, but like every time you watch, there's an episode where they try to do a charming thing between like the wife and the husband, or like between the kids. It doesn't work because he's like they're all terrible.
Yeah.
And then they immediately like fart in Meg's face or something stupid like that. But with It's Always Sunny, they do that as a joke. They legit, like the show itself is like, yeah, these guys are pricks.
Yeah, like it doesn't try to make you, like, they are the main characters, but that doesn't mean the show is trying to make you think that they're like good, you know what I mean? Like, they're still awful people. And also, I think the difference also, like what Daniel was saying, was the quality of writing between It's Always Sunny and Family Guy.
That's always.
Because
Family Guy is just a far better written show.
Yeah,
like the fart jokes, oh my god, so much better.
And with It's Always Sunny, or not with It's Always Sunny, with Family Guy, half of the show is always like, Peter's like, he says like not an alliteration, like a simile, or he says like some saying or something, or I don't know how to explain it.
Oh, this is more ridiculous than a bobcat, and I don't know, who the fuck was the guy from 2.5 Men? Charlie Sheen's mansion on a Wednesday. And it's like,
and then it just shows like a 30-second overly drawn clip of that, or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
it's
they
like,
just keep.
They don't even make sense. Half of them aren't relevant to the joke at all. They have no connection.
Yeah.
Like, humor is based on the subversion of expectations, but it's like, you aren't really doing it in any kind of good way there. It's just like, oh, I thought one thing was going to happen, and then like a bobcat for 30 seconds is shown shitting on the carpet somewhere, and it's like, yeah, that's not what I expected, but it's not funny.
It's definitely like potty humor and stuff. But the one thing I do want to talk about, It's Always Sunny, because it is kind of something that just recently happened with like a lot of sitcoms, is, we had like a lot of the instances of like blackface and like a lot of situations like that. So a couple episodes of It's Always Sunny, along with like a lot of other sitcoms, actually got a bunch of their episodes removed on like Hulu and like Netflix and everywhere, and because they had blackface. And like It's Always Sunny, I think there's like 4 episodes that use blackface. And like we said, not trying to like be super political, but like It's Always Sunny, they try to like prove that like it's it's a terrible thing to do. They're
The
terrible
punchline
characters doing terrible
It's the fact that
things.
they're doing it.
Yeah.
And they think it's okay that they're doing it.
And like in one of the episodes, one of my favorite episodes of the whole show that did get taken down was called D-Day. And so like in D-Day, it's like D's one of the characters, and she can on each one of the characters' days, you have to do everything she says. Otherwise, the day it gets another day added. I'm like stuttering so bad, but so you have to do everything she says. And so one of the things she has is she has a lot of these racist characters, and I think the other 3 episodes that got removed were because of her racist characters. But like in this one episode, she makes the other people do her racist characters, and they're straight up talking. They're like, man, this is so racist. This is so bad. How is she making us do, like, they're acknowledging that it's a bad thing to do. But, I get it. It gets removed because they don't want to, deal with potential backlash, and they want to play it safe. I get that. I'm not like, I understand why they do it. I wish they paid attention to the context a little bit more.
And there are people that, I guess, genuinely think that, like, it is just harmful no matter how you do it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying either way.
Which is fair. Like, we're all like white as hell. We don't know how it is.
Completely like you said, we don't really know
what it's like.
Yeah, but I don't think just like putting down a wall and saying that any mention of it, no matter what, is like, awful. What if I want to make a skit where I make fun of Nazis and like Nazis are fucking awful. Fuck Nazis. But like, if I can't show it because it's, bad in that way, regardless of the context that I'm using it, which in this case would be to make fun of Nazis.
Yeah.
Or to, yeah.
It just feels like it's like one of those things. I'm not going to like go as far to say it's censorship. Well, is it technically a censorship? But I'm not like, it's just like, it's one of those things where if you keep acting like it didn't happen, you know what I mean? I think that's more harmful. But, like we all said, we don't know.
Yeah.
What it's actually like. I know that I lost one of my favorite episodes of It's Always Sunny. That makes me a little bit sad. But
that's our hurt from this.
Yeah, that's how we're like white privilege. It's like, man, I lost my favorite episode of It's Always, which I could still easily watch by like purchasing like a DVD set or something.
I mean, what?
Or we got a pirate episode. We're just showing a pirate episode.
Don't pirate the podcast. We'll find you.
Don't pirate our free podcast. But so I guess what are some
I thought we were charging like a $20 a month subscription fee.
No,
I am not.
Money.
That's the OnlyFans. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Subscribe to our OnlyFans.
How many OnlyFans jokes have we had over this?
At least 3.
Not enough. That's the correct answer.
There needs to be more.
Okay.
So what are some
another note?
I know, like back in the day, I'm sure a lot of people would like be super pissed if we didn't talk about like Friends and like some of those older like really classic.
I've never watched Friends.
I've watched a couple episodes. Well, so okay, there's two sitcoms that mash in my head.
Seinfeld.
There's not Seinfeld.
How I Met Your Mother.
There's How I Met Your Mother and Friends.
I don't know how I got that.
They're like the same to me.
They are very similar.
I haven't like sat down and actually like watched either of them. It's more just like, my family was watching them, so I saw bits and pieces of them. But those are probably like, if we're gonna say like quintessential, sitcoms, because that's literally like those are older, so they're more reliant on like a single
like the formula.
Yeah, and like there's a single like set. Or like they're, like for some of them, they have a couple sets, and those shows made so much money, so they did get to do more location stuff. But yeah, I guess those are good shows. I haven't watched a ton of them, but I wanted to mention them because I assume like most people clicking on this video or listening to this.
Those are.
Yeah, we acknowledge that those are things. We're just I feel like
we
maybe
just
those
don't know anything about them and couldn't add anything like useful.
There's decades.
Oh yeah, like How I Met Your Mother, or not How I Met Your Mother. What's the George Lopez one? Was it literally just called George Lopez?
It was like the George Lopez show, and the only thing I remember about that was the intro, because it would always come on after like all the cartoons. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like Nick at Night. I was up being a badass in like elementary school, and Lowrider would start playing, and I'd change the channel because I yes, all my friends.
But like, there's Cheers, even in the 40s. I watched the video I was watching. That was really one of the older like black and white sitcoms. They didn't treat women in the best light. Like, just like how confident they are.
Yeah, they got it, Matthew. They didn't treat women very well in the 1940s.
In general, yeah, that's fair. But there's a whole episode where these two wives of the husbands try to prove that they can work in the working world. And then that's the episode. They can't because they don't have any skills.
Oh my!
Besides houseworking and stuff
See,
like
that's
that.
why I think it's important to like. I don't know why I'm bringing us back to this topic, but I think that's why it's important to like that. That episode would probably be considered offensive nowadays, obviously. But like, it's important to look at like where we've come from. You know what I mean? Like how bad.
I can see the argument in that.
Yeah, because I mean, shit was fucked back then, and like stuff is still screwed up.
Stuff was fucked, and now stuff is still kind of fucked, but
just different
considerably less fucked. In those areas.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just every medium.
Yeah.
Sitcoms was a comedy, so they make jokes at people's expense, and sometimes those expenses a little unfair.
Oh, the one thing Gus Johnson made an amazing video recently talking about all the actors from The Office and like kind of what they're up to now. And I don't like watch that video. I'm not gonna like just like explain what he said in his video, but pretty much like.
Can we become a React channel for only Gus Johnson content?
But it was pretty much like how I think it was because The Office is so big, and most of those actors, I hate to say it, didn't really become like actual actors. Like you have Jim. Like Jim went on. I mean, he's like has his own Amazon Jack Ryan.
Jim and Michael,
and Michael obviously he was like already a superstar beforehand. Yeah, Steve Carell. But most of those people didn't become things, and so because The Office was so big and there was like a huge resurgence when streaming happened, a lot of them are just like kind of like cashing it in. And the one example I want to talk about
I'd ride on the coattails of The Office.
If I were a part of that podcast they created, and
like, hey, I'm gonna talk about that one acting role I did like 10, 20 years ago. I don't know how long ago it was.
I think The Office.
Give me money.
Yeah, but that's interesting.
So what were you saying about?
The one example I wanted to talk about was Stanley or whatever from The Office.
Yeah.
It's not official because he couldn't get the rights to the character, but he did a GoFundMe a Kickstarter of $300,000 to make a pilot of a show, not the show, the pilot of the show, of something called like Uncle Stan or something.
Yeah.
And it's like supposed to be
not like, Stanley.
Not Stanley, Uncle Stan, because it's Stanley, but it's not Stanley. But
you can't be Stanley.
But yeah, so I watch the Gus Johnson video. If you want to see all of what they're up to, but yeah,
that's crazy. I'm trying to think of another example of an actor getting out, like shooting out from a role from a sitcom.
From a sitcom.
What's the guy that played the in the How I Met Your Mother? The guy that's like legendary.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I have no idea what the fuck either of you.
The guy had a lot of sex in that show. That was like his character.
But Patrick.
Well, how could you not be famous after that?
His name's Patrick something.
Patrick's.
But, he's one of the main characters in the show, and he got a lot of roles. He's in Starship Troopers.
Oh, really?
Yes! He's one of the guys that become a Nazi at the end of it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was weird seeing him in that.
So you know what I'm talking about now.
I know exactly who you're talking about. I know the face perfectly. I
can't put.
I can't do names.
Patrick Harris or
something.
Isn't Patrick Stewart?
The Patrick's the old guy. That's the.
The guy in Star Trek or whatever.
I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Please ignore me.
But I know I don't know if Charlie Day was big, but like my favorite actor of all time because of It's Always Sunny. He's in a lot of other good things like Horrible Bosses.
He was in those Horrible Bosses movies, which are like okay comedies. He's also.
He was in the Pacific Rim.
He's in Pacific Rim.
He was in Pacific Rim.
He's the villain in Pacific Rim 2, I think. Spoilers.
2? Oh, I didn't know that. But
I did spoil that for you guys. I'm sorry.
He was the scientist in the first one, so I guess just he got tired of people not listening to him. But and then you got Danny DeVito. That's why It's Always Sunny is the best. You got Danny DeVito.
He was famous way before that show.
No, I know. He was super famous. They get him in season 2, and like.
That's what he elevated that show so much.
He does.
My main exposure to Danny DeVito was like his role in It's Always Sunny. So like, for me, Frank and Danny, like they mashed into the same being, and I know Danny DeVito IRL is a great guy, but whenever I see him, I'm like, oh, it's that bastard.
A fun fact I know from It's Always Sunny is supposedly Frank would just do whatever. He would just do, like, you could throw any script at him in It's Always Sunny and he would do it. He doesn't care. You know what I mean? He's like, he understands that's his character. And so they wanted to see how far they could push those limits. So at one point they wrote a fake script where, like, Frank in the episode gets like raped. Like, and it's like a whole like thing. And apparently like Frank was like, okay, guys, like, come on, guys.
Yeah, that's
so
fucking hilarious.
That was
I'm kind of glad that he does have a limit though. He has some self-respect.
Yeah, no, like there are so many reasons to not do an episode with that as the subject matter.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do a comedy where that's involved. Like, as in you probably...
I mean, they do some pretty bad... Like, Dee, she literally is just a rapist. Like, she, like, rapes probably about, like, 15 people in the entire show.
Oh, don't you know, like, male rape is apparently a punchline.
Yeah,
and
no.
They're, like...
That's a big problem with comedy overall, actually.
Fucking Hollywood in general. There's, like, a comedy where it's like, that's my boy or something. And the whole plot of the movie is about this, like, middle or high school kid who has sex with the hot teacher, and he becomes so cool because he had sex with the hot teacher, and there's all this comedy that happens from it. It's like, yeah, it's just a kid getting raped. Like,
see, I guess they
That's
like,
very rip,
but
yeah.
it's weird because It's
I don't know,
Always
I'm
Sunny.
clarifying,
They do like take it seriously a little bit because Dennis got raped as a kid by a teacher, and like
He tries to play it off as like a sexual conquest.
yeah, but
they're like, no, dude,
everyone's
that's...
like, but
that's
then
kinda
yeah, I
fucked
guess
up.
like just Dee, they don't really. I don't know. I guess I mean it's one of those things where it's like they're all purposely bad characters.
No,
but,
they're definitely playing her in a bad way. There's an episode where they call her out on that.
yeah.
A bit, but yeah, everyone in the show's terrible.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think, are there any other like super awesome sitcoms that we haven't talked about?
Okay, do you want to talk about the Disney live action shows that we always watch as a kid?
oh, I wanted to talk about Horsing Around. It's my favorite sitcom. Does BoJack count as a situational comedy?
Definitely not, I don't think.
No.
That is like a story-driven...
Yeah,
But this situation...
the problem there is
Horsing
It's
Around
happy, it makes me suicidal, all those things I feel.
the point of a sitcom usually is it's pretty
And like,
consistent.
when I'm watching a sitcom.
There's a status quo, and usually it returns at the end of the episode. BoJack changes a lot.
No, yeah,
through
that's
the series.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, those Disney Channel originals, that's a good, because like,
That's our
like
biggest
Sweet Life of
exposure.
Zach and Cody, and then Sweet Life on Deck. I loved those because those are literally like two twins that are just, they're rich and they just live in a hotel that like, they're
I had the same kind of hair as a kid. Not nearly as long, but
You were way more attractive.
I'm
Monk
more
cut
attractive than an
Matthew.
8-year-old kid.
Shit. Oh god. Oh god.
No,
I'm getting
no,
canceled.
We're talking about on deck, so it's fine. They're only teenagers.
Yeah.
I don't think they're legal though.
The actors might have been.
My favorite character in the entire, I think it was Sweet Life on Deck. I don't think he was in the first one. Was that big fat kid named freaking Kirby or whatever?
Oh.
I loved that.
The only thing I remember of him is there's a joke where he's still wearing, like, someone made a bet they had to wear shoes for like a couple months. And he's like, "That you won that like 2 months ago." It's like, yeah, my flesh is just kind of merged with the shoe. And I'm like, whoa, kid, you need
some surgery.
Yeah.
Trying to think what are some other good of those Disney sitcoms. I know there was like a skateboarding one. There was a lot of skateboarding Disney.
Dude, yeah, it's the radical thing.
Yeah,
Hannah
you gotta get
Montana.
all the cool. Oh, Hannah Montana. I remember there was an episode of Hannah Montana. I think it was like, you know how in all of those things they would like do these huge plot twists that would only last an episode, but they would advertise them and hype them up. One of the ones in Hannah Montana was they were advertising like, she lost her memory. She doesn't know what's happening. Oh my gosh.
I thought that was the brother.
And then the
Or
episode.
did they just do that twice?
I feel like they would totally do that twice.
Maybe it was the brother. But then it turns out he was just faking the entire time. And then it gets returned back to status, quota or whatever you said.
You know what frustrated me
learned a
about
lesson.
that show is towards the end, they had this, one of the climaxes towards the end was whether or not she would go for this boy or this boy. One who she's dated before and got cheated on before, but like is swearing he'll treat her right this time. And the other is this sort of bad boy drummer of a band. And at the end of the day, I guess I never watched that episode, but I guess she picks the boy, the blonde boy, the one that cheated on her. And then a couple episodes later, he cheats on her. And then she breaks up with him and then just gets with the other guy. And I'm like, wow. Even as a kid, I'm like, nothing was accomplished there.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just do that. You can't just be like, well, okay, that option didn't work, so I'm going to go back to the other guy.
Oh, you want to know what's an amazing one? Wizards of Waverly Place.
That's a good one.
That was like one of my favorites.
We've talked about it before. Max killed a man.
Yeah. Max.
Oh yeah, with the ice thing. They had a movie for that, and the movie was actually really good.
Movie is surprisingly well written.
Yeah.
Like to a degree.
Because
I haven't watched it in a while.
What I really liked about the show was it was like you have wizards as kids, but then only one kid from each wizard family can actually be a wizard adult.
Which is weird, but
it is weird, yeah. But like, so they kind of had that going on, but it was still a
So
sitcom.
are wizards a slowly like dying species
that's what
then?
I'm thinking. Like,
Well, if you keep having kids, oh, you're right.
Yeah, because like if one dies, that slot for like wizardry is just gone forever.
Yeah. Huh. Or maybe there's a chance that people just randomly become
I still low-key support the revolutionary girl that just wanted to stop that rule.
Oh yeah.
But then she got frozen and then knocked over and then shattered into 1,000 pieces for it.
Was she the one who?
But it's fine. I looked up the wiki, and apparently later on, they clarified that she was put back together and went to evil rehab.
Evil rehab. So what they
I don't believe
what
that.
actually
That's a
means-
cover-up.
That's what the government told them.
There was an episode
Max's psyche couldn't deal with the weight of murder.
there was an episode of Wizards of Waverly Place with, I think there's like some like Hispanic like singer named like Shakira or something, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And there was an episode where she's in the episode, but lore-wise in Wizards of Waverly Place, she's actually like this fat guy, like that just turns into
Oh, I don't remember
Shakira.
that.
Turns into Shakira and like does this. And so like they're like, you can't do that. And he's like, I'm gonna keep doing it. But like, imagine that. Imagine being a super famous like singer, and you get approached by a kid show. We're like, okay, so we want to do a show where a fat dude is actually you. You're actually Laura. So because the
Just
whole
for
time
the pure
growing
like
up,
gutso of them approaching me with that, I'd be like, yeah, I'm fucking down.
but like growing up as a kid, I didn't think that chick was a real person because like I thought it was just like a whole skit in the show. But then I find out that she's like a genuinely stupid, famous like singer or something.
Can we talk about Zach and Cody real quick? I just want to talk about one more joke that I still keeps me to this day. Is one of the episodes there was a joke with the chef of the hotel and how he was getting less and less healthy and he couldn't cook anymore. And he was like, they tested my blood. He was Italian, and he was like, they found bacon bits in my blood. I'm like, dude, okay, no, you need to stop eating. I don't know how many.
Not eating. That's just like he's injecting like
He's just-
bacon grease.
They one day find him, you know, in the stalls with like a belt around his arm. He's mainlining bacon.
Oh my gosh. So I'm trying to think. I know we're like kind of running out on time. So what are some? Are there any other last?
iCarly.
Oh, iCarly. That was.
Okay.
I love that one.
The one thing at praise I'll give iCarly, even though some of the humor was kind of cringy, in my opinion, it really, some of the episodes really shed a light on, and someone predicted how like YouTuber or internet culture worked in the future.
Oh yeah.
Like, so there was an episode where Freddy just doesn't says on stream, like he doesn't care for Freddy. Doesn't find him funny. And
Who does? Sam?
Sam. And Freddy, the actual YouTuber meme guy. And Freddy gets
Freddy,
upset.
like the actual YouTuber.
Makes a video where he's upset and he's like, I'm not going to make content anymore. And then everyone shits on just specifically Freddy for this. His own aunt is calling him, shitting on him. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But then towards the end, it's revealed that Freddy, he just did it as a publicity stunt to try to create beef. So they both got just a shit ton of more subscribers for it.
Yeah, that's so like, because
Man, is Dan Schneider a time traveler?
Yeah, he's like the Quentin Tarantino of television making, especially because he loves his feet.
I was gonna make that joke.
Why
How
do you
could you?
say Quentin Tarantino?
Because that's the foot joke.
Yeah.
I was gonna lead
so
into it, but I
lost.
don't think I was going to.
So do you know
Quentin Tarantino and Dan Schneider both have a foot fetish.
Yes.
So Dan Schneider's foot fetish,
is with the actors on our show, which are usually young women.
oh no.
yeah.
So it's a little questionable.
Quentin Tarantino. That's
Allegedly.
That's a kink. I'm
Allegedly.
pretty sure. I don't
Quentin
know
Tarantino's pretty
everything about
obvious,
him.
though.
Yeah.
He just puts on his Instagram feet pics of his actors.
I mean, hell, yeah, more power to you. But like going back to iCarly, like honestly, I don't think I. Oh no. So what were you saying?
I was just commenting. I don't know necessarily to. Never mind. Whatever.
Oh, okay.
Making your actors show your feet, but okay.
Yeah.
Like if they don't.
But yeah,
You know what? Let's not
Yeah,
talk about that.
Yeah. But like, I never really thought about it. But honestly, I think iCarly, because I did watch a lot of it as a kid. I think that like, kind of like influenced like me a little bit, like because it just made me want to like create like content like that. I mean, I think I really like that.
The one and only. Time to grind.
Yeah,
Because of iCarly.
Inspiration for iCarly, and then Drake and Josh. Drake and Josh was a masterpiece.
You know what sitcom I watched a ton of? Just my brother loved the show, and then I ended up kind of actually liking it once I started watching it. It was the Big Time Rush show.
Oh,
like
I remember seeing a couple episodes.
It was the weirdest thing because it was pretty much like I feel a boy band that was like they were like, oh, they're super popular. They like put them up on a pedestal, and then they became super popular just because like
the show said
they had a show and they said that they were a popular boy band. But like the show itself, it's actually pretty funny. It's still one of those like kids shows, whatever. Not the best thing in the world, but like they had some pretty good humor.
If I remember,
it's pretty memeable.
Yeah, I remember one of our friends, Anna. Apparently, her younger brother. There was a period of time where he just kept rewatching the Big Time Rush movie over and over and over and over. I'm really glad you brought up the whole kids like sitcoms.
Yeah, I just remember that.
Forgot like that's a whole category of kids.
That's
sitcoms.
honestly our biggest exposure to the standard.
We always go way too vague. Like sitcoms, and then
we were thinking about doing comedy. That's the reason why we did sitcom today.
Yeah,
I'm glad that
comedy's even bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but okay. Well, I guess.
Speaking of comedy, have you ever seen The Onion Masterpiece? This is completely unrelated to sitcom.
Or is this where we're going?
I'm talking about Porking Across America with Jim Haggerty, one of the best shorts you will ever watch. Don't look up anything about it. Don't look at the thumbnails. Just watch the entire series. It's about 30 minutes put into like 5-minute episodes. If you've ever watched a Food Network show, you will laugh your ass off. And, well, if you're like my man Holden here, you won't enjoy it. But if you enjoy good humor.
In a year from now, I'm going to compile all his shilling of Porking Across America on the podcast.
You're gonna have like an hour of footage. I can't show that enough.
He's just going to be motivated to say it every episode. Bring it up.
I don't know what I've done. But, okay.
It only has 200,000 views. Like
it's too many. It's 200,000.
It's 200,000. Like, it needs to be like 5 times more.
But okay, guys. Well, if you guys are still watching or listening at this part,
what's wrong with
you guys? Yeah. First of all, what's wrong with you? Second of all, thank you for being a little messed up to listen to us.
We appreciate you listening to us.
Yes. So, and if you guys have any recommendations for future topics, definitely let us know. And if we missed your favorite sitcom and you want to kill us for us,
please
kill
don't.
us for it. Please don't. But just let us know what you missed out on or what we missed out on. But if
you want to come talk to me in person, my address is 43. No.
Okay. Well, see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.